Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So, what a week. What a week. What a 2 weeks. I hope you all had an awesome Thanksgiving. It was good here. Um, of course, just felt overwhelmed with the whole week. And then I had the whole Christmas stuff to do and still doing. And then there's more. There's more. Good morning, Gail. Good morning. Um, so what happened after Thanksgiving? I was going through some of my videos on YouTube and I discovered that they were gone. They were gone. I only had 4 posted. I've done over 100 broadcasts. Where are the others? Well, it turns out that there's some third party out there who is citing copyright for the music I used. Well, the music I used was copyright free, royalty free, part of a membership of this music group. Hey, Letty, good morning. So it was all legitimate, but I didn't have those posts in my comments. So I'm in the process of of reposting those. So for those of you who are subscribed to my YouTube, you're going to get a lot of notifications that say um, you're going to get a lot of notifications that say, new postings. Machine, good morning. And Letty, I love it when you're here. Of course, if you're in the shop, that means that you're working. Sorry. So I had the whole YouTube posting issue. And then I got an eye infection. Had no idea what that is. Doctor says that it's a allergy, but I'm not thinking so. Making another appointment with my ophthalmologist. Then the refrigerator died. Then it came back. Then it died again. Then it kind of came back. And now it's dead. Yeah, no coming back from this one. And of course, I'm not willing to run out and buy the first refrigerator that's in stock anywhere. So my refrigerator won't be delivered until the 20th. Today's the 7th. Yeah, I know. All right. Okay, so enough about me. Like I said, oh, Diane, good morning. Diane's here too. Good morning. So today I had planned to talk about something else, but this subject keeps coming up, so I thought it was time to approach it again. The shop is swamped, working on collar names for a bride who thought I only needed 3 days. Well, isn't that sweet? She takes a whole year to plan her wedding, but gives you 3 days. Sweet. No, you're right. That's not good about the refrigerator. So what am I going to do? Well, it's a good thing my brother lives in the basement. Right now we're taking temporary refuge in his refrigerator. I have a cooler box coming, so I'm going to do the whole ice and cooler thing for the refrigerated stuff, the freezer stuff. And we're lucky. It's cold enough outside that I can keep a cooler box outside too. But anyways, oh, no, don't even have time for that. But thank you for the suggestion, Letty. I appreciate it. She was talking that maybe I could just buy something off a marketplace and then, be done with it. But yeah, I'll wait. We'll manage. So today, like I said, I had something else planned, but this subject keeps coming up. So I thought maybe we should approach it again. Hat hoops. And not just hat hoop and how to hoop a hat, but hello, Gail. Hello, Gail. But the hat driver, for those of you who may not know, the hat driver What is this, Diane? Glad you're revisiting the cat driver. A lot of problems using it. Need more practice. Sorry about the fringe in the eye. I know. I know. Okay, so the hat driver is the mechanism that you're attaching to the machine, and it's what actually rotates your hat hoop. It's what rotates your hat hoop to move the hat where you need it to go while stitching. Okay, so I had made a little video for you, and we're going to look at the hat driver, and it's only about a 2-minute video, but we're going to stop and start along the way. Let me get all set up here. Okay, so this is a very close-up picture of the hat driver on the machine. This is the arm. This is where your needle plate is. This is that center arm. And this is the hat driver. Do you see how close my hat driver is to the arm? That is very, very important. Very important. Because remember, the hat hoop gets positioned on the machine by where the hat driver is located. And if the hat driver is too high, that means that your hat is going to be too far away from the machine. I'll show you that again in a minute. So let's go ahead and start this. And it's just, there's nothing much to see here. But I will pause it again in just a moment. So again, that hat driver. All right, here's a pause. Here are 3 business cards. I like to use 2 as a spacer, kind of measure the space, but because of the location of my hat driver here, I can't go lower than 3. So here's what we've got. We've got 3 business cards, and we're going to stack those together. And then we're going to kind of bend them and put them under the space between, oops, go back a bit. Got ahead of myself. The space between the driver and the arm. Does everybody understand that? That we don't want the hat driver to be too close to the arm, because then it will rub and cause damage to the machine. Could be just superficial damage, which is probably no big deal, but we like to keep our machines pretty. So we don't want to, and of course rubbing, if it's sitting too low and it's rubbing on the edges, it'll cause distortion. So we don't want that. So 3 business cards tucked under the hat driver and the arm. What if you have, and it should slide in there, but it shouldn't be loosey-goosey. It shouldn't be a lot of wiggle room in there. It should just kind of slide in there and hold. But what happens if it's too loose? Or if it's too, if it's too low, or if it's too high? Well, that's where the next part of this comes in. Every hat driver, now this is my happy machine. Every hat driver has adjustments. You can adjust your hat driver. These 2 screws, you see how they've got a slot right here? That slot is to allow you to move the hat driver up and down. And there's another pair on the other side. All right? Now, as you can see, my hat driver is set as low as it will go, which gives me those 3 business card spacing. If there was more space above that, I could loosen those screws and move the hat driver down a little bit more. If it was too low, I could loosen the screws and raise it up a little bit. But again, that's what the 3 business cards are going to do. They're going to give us the spacing that we're looking for. Okay, so here's our pretend hat. You ready? I know I could have put a hello hat on there, but I don't think you would see what I want you to see. So I used a hat, some hat stabilizer to simulate our hat. And please, if you guys have any questions, ask them. Whether it's about what I'm talking about at this very moment or something else related to the hat driver and hats, let me know so I can address it for you. Okay, like I said, our simulated hat. So I put our hat on the hoop, and then I'm going to show you. Yeah, let's make sure our hat sits pretty. I have a needle down or presser foot down mechanism on my machine. And did you see that? The needle went down, the press foot went down to where it will be when it stitches, and there was very little movement in our hat. Let's watch that again. Going up, going down. That's what you want. You do not want a lot of movement in the hat. And I'm going to demonstrate that here. I had to get a third hand, so I'm using a little bit of tape to work as a third hand. So the tape is going to hold our hat on one side, and then I'm going to raise our hat. Now this is dramatic. I know there's a lot of gap here between the hat and the needle plate, but I wanted you to see the extremes. Do you see that? Let's try that again, Gail. You're asking, can we adjust that without going to the back of the machine and putting it in maintenance mode? What specifically are you wanting to adjust? The driver? The presser foot? What are you wanting to adjust? So while we wait for that, let's go back to our little video here. So if your driver is sitting too high, that means that the hat, the curve of the hat, is sitting too far away from your needle plate. That doesn't have to rest right on top of the needle plate. Just needs to be, it needs to be in a good position. And what happens is you have flagging when your hat is sitting too far up. Now keep in mind it is a curved item and there is going to be some raised area. Oh, no, Gail, that, I tell you what, Gail, send me a message later and I will show you where that is on your control panel. All right? It's just a button. I think it's on the home screen, above where, send me a message and I'll get you a picture of it. So if you have the hat up too high, you're going to have flagging, and that's that bouncing that happens. All right, and that bouncing can cause deflection. Your needle needs to go down into the needle plate in a straight line. And if you have too much flagging happening, it's going to shift, and that's going to cause a needle break. And you don't want that. Let's see, where are we going next? Okay. This is sure, Dan. Yep, just send me a message and I'll get you both pictures. This is a hat on a hoop. Of course, you can see that. It's a hat on a hoop. What I want you to see is that the strap, and I'm going to tell you what I really absolutely love about Happy's um, hat hoops. This strap, there's only one strap. Other hat hoops have two straps, one that goes under and one that goes over. The one that goes under is supposed to align with the hat hoop and hold the hoop in the hat in place. You know, but Happy's got a better way of doing it. So if we look, here we are. Here's the strap going around. You see the strap is right in the seam, exactly where you want it. It cycles around exactly where you want it. Oh, we should go back for just a heartbeat. Do you see this? We all know that we can adjust our hat hoop just like we can adjust our driver. If that hat hoop is too loose, your hat's going to shift around. If it's too tight, you're going to break your thumb trying to get it latched. We don't want that. Hello, Doug. Good morning. So make sure that you've adjusted your hat hoop. And I'm going to show you how you can know if it's right. So our strap goes exactly where we want it. Let's go forward. All right. So here I am. I'm trying to shift that hat in the hoop. And it's not shifting. It's not moving. I'm sitting here fussing with it, trying to shift it around. And of course, eventually I pop it out of place. But, you know, that had nothing to do with the hoop. That just had me doing it. But now I'm going to show you the part of this hoop that I absolutely love. Did you see this thing right here? You see that? That is, for lack of a better term, that is a hook, stabilizing hook on this strap. And what it does is it is set so that the strap is at the exact same distance from the hat hoop, from this part of the hat hoop, with every hat. It's a fixed distance. Oops. Let's go back just a wee bit more. See if we can. You see this right here? It is a fixed distance. It does not change. Your two-strap hat hoop, you have to be really careful that you're not getting any shifting. Yes, it can be done. People do it all the time. Those two-strap hat hoops have been around for ages, and people use them every day and have absolutely no problems. But it takes a lot of practice, and you need to use it often so that you get into the mindset of exactly how to do it. Happy's hat hoop takes some of that guesswork out by providing you with this part here that gives you the same distance, the same setting on every hat, on hooping of every hat. And of course, you know, I'm working down here and the camera's up there and you know, things all springy. But look, when it's set exactly right, it does not, it's in the same place every time. So that's our little video on hooping hats. Now, anybody have any specific questions? Like I said, I'd be happy to go over anything you might have. We all know that if we're stitching hat, our design file should be center bottom up, center out. And that's because we're working on a curve. And if we stitch, oh, good morning, Barb. Barb, so good to see you today. I hope the holidays were good for you. Okay, we have more holidays coming up. I hope all the holidays are good. But our hat designs should stitch center out and bottom up. That is a guideline. Sometimes that can't be done. In fact, this morning, I'm working on an edit for somebody because they're stitching on our favorite hats, Richardson's 112, with that whole center seam. That center seam is a bear. That center seam consists of 6 layers, because there's that fold over, right? That's what a seam does, is it folds over. You have the lining, you have the buckram, and you have the hat fabric. That's 3. And then, so you got those 3 layers, and then you stitch your seam and you fold over your seam. So now you have 6 layers. You have the lining, buckram, hat. That's 6 layers. So it can be, sometimes it can be a bit of it's hard to get through those 6 layers if that's your first needle penetration. If the first needle has to go through those 6 layers, the thing is that first needle is not up to speed yet. It's, it's fairly slow. And it comes up and it tries to make it again. That's where you get a lot of deflection also. That's where you need to make sure that your hat is down to the needle plate as close as it can get. And that's where you need to consider, and this particular client is having issue with needle breaks on an older machine. Let's see if we can't get back here. So you can see, in fact, I'm going to hide that one. This is where the machine first started. Oops. It started right here. Actually, let me stop for a moment. Let's go get, I have a template that I use for hats that I use to when I'm digitizing for hats. This is a standard hat size template. This is our center seam. And this is the seam allowance, the fold over. All right. Oh, I forgot. There is another layer, possibly another 2. They sometimes put seaming tape over these edges. So we may have more than 6 layers here. So if we look at this, and we do a run, our first needle penetration is right here. That's right on that seam. The machine's needle, when it first goes down, is not up to speed, and it may not have enough juice, enough power to power through all of those seams. So this whole thing, we're starting in the center and we're going to work out because of the way this design is. And yes, we're doing our lettering center out, bottom up. And then we have a circle around it. One of the things that we added see. Hide others. Unhide. We added a tack down stitch with the goal that the hat will now be secured to the stabilizer, which hopefully will hold the curve of the hat down closer to the needle bar. I'm sorry, not the needle bar, but the needle plate. Oh, that's right. I hid everything else. Unhide all. So, again, any questions? Hats. People get an embroidery machine and they start their small business. And one of the things they do I had to move. Diane saying she had to move the stabilizer because it didn't reach the top of the design instead of butting it up. Which you can do two things for that, Diane. You can either use 2 layers of stabilizer offset from each other. Instead of laying together, you can offset them to give you more stabilizer, or you can get wider stabilizer. My concern is the stabilizer is part of the spacing in our hoop. When we adjust our hoop to hold the hat, we've adjusted that strap to include the stabilizer. Now, if we move the stabilizer up and now there's no stabilizer where the strap is going, it might be a little loose. So, again, I would either use wider stabilizer or take 2 layers and offset them so that they are wider. Does that help? Wonderful. Wonderful. Let me know how it goes. So yes, when you get your embroidery machine, a lot of people, the first thing they want to do is stitch hats. In my opinion, hats are the hardest thing to learn to do on the embroidery machine. I would like to encourage anybody that's brand new to embroidery to start with the simple stuff first. Learn your machine. You two need to build a relationship. And the only way you're going to build a relationship is you need to learn how the machine works. And I'm not talking about all the intricacies of, how does the machine read the design file and move up or down or left or right. I'm talking about, the basics. Yes, if you press this button, it moves forward. If you press that button, left or right. So you need to, and the machine is fixed. It's not going to change its mind in the middle of something. So you're the one that's flexible. You need to learn the machine. You need to build a relationship with your machine. Learn, do your flats first. Get familiar with doing flats first. Make some patches, embroider some names, work with some flats. And then work up to the hats. And again, the hats are the hardest. That hooping of hats. What makes hat hoops work is the consistency. You need to work everyone at the same that's baby kitty, also known as Tori, but baby kitty. So listen, about time for me to go. I want you to send me messages at quicktostitch.com or quicktostitchgmail@gmail.com or on Facebook Messenger. Send me messages. I'll help you any way I can. Next week, what is next week? Next week is the 14th. All right. Let's try to do our, is it real or is it Memorex? That's kind of what I have planned. You'll find out. All right. We'll see you all next week. Have a great weekend. I'm going to go to my...
Wasn't that fun? Do you have more questions? Do you want to learn something new? Join me at quicktostitch.com for coffee and conversation, and we'll talk about it. Embroidery machines, designs, and business. Hope to see you soon. Bye now.